Welcome to the TMC Net Newsroom. This is Carl Ford at IT Expo East in scenic Miami Beach, Florida. I'm delighted to have my friend Anatoli Levine with me, and we are putting his IMTC hat on because we want to talk about video in a slightly different way, because one of the things that has been going in the IMTC is we've been looking at how to make SIP video functionality equivalent to what is available to us in other protocols, and we're talking about 323, but we'll ignore that fact for the moment. But how are we doing with that progress? What's been going on there?
It's still ongoing work. It's started almost 2 years ago, I would say, and it really started from the fact that if you, I don't know about our listeners, but in a lot of corporate offices, if you use your video conferencing systems, there is a huge chance you still use an H223 based systems, because the protocol, I don't want to start any protocol wars. The protocol was designed.
It's just that's what the legacy is, and
it's
that's
a legacy,
and
it had a lot of features which were meant specifically for video conferencing. H223 was not built as a general purpose.
It was built for being on a LAN, and it's kind of optimized
video.
for that.
It was really optimized for video.
Right.
It was the people who were driving that protocol were video people.
Right.
SIP is a communications protocol. It's a lot more universal. Therefore, you have to, when you deal with SIP, then for pretty much each and every use, you have to have a profile. You have to define a profile. So this is exactly what we're doing in the IMTC. We define the best practices and the profile, which will allow us to, using the same SIP, get to the same level of implementation and the same level of capabilities as we had in the H223 systems. The stuff I'm talking about is how to control conferences, how to select who is a chair, who wants to speak, who doesn't speak right now, how to support dual stream video. If we're talking about SIP, SIP doesn't care. 1 stream, 2 stream, 3 stream, doesn't matter. It's all media streams. However, for when you implement a video conferencing system, how you implement a dual stream support when there is a speaker and there is a presentation, you have to control those video streams differently. Therefore, there are additional steps to take to implement that. And because we're talking about interoperability, IMTC's premise, the consortium exists for almost 18 years by now. It started in '93. The basic premise about IMTC always was interoperability. This is what we do. If someone was asking me what IMTC does in 2 words, we do interoperability. That's what we do. We making sure that any communications technologies can be interoperable on the technical level, of course. That we're not talking about political interoperability. And well, I just
that's good.
In one of the recent conversations, I said
you don't have to explain
we have to the 7-layer model not enough. We need the layer 8,
10 and
which
9,
is called
yes,
10 and 9. But the political is you feel the influence with all the clouds which are around us, the Cisco cloud.
You're getting down a rat hole. I don't want you to go there, because we're back in interoperability, because I want to take you to the next step.
Let's leave the rat hole. So anyway, so we, in that group, we essentially build in those
profile
best practices documents and profiles, which then will allow anyone who will implement that profile to be interoperable with Polycom, with Stanberg, with LifeSize, with RADVISION, with anyone who delivers video communication equipment today.
Great. And now on the other side of the interoperability stuff, one of the things that you've been involved in is the voice over LTE activity. And like what we've had been going on with going from a LAN system to an over-the-top system using SIP, we're much in the same boat in the fact that we had the PSTN and the circuit switch model for wireless, that now we're going to have voice basically going through the packets on the evolved packet core, which is called voice over LTE, which is long-term evolution. And you're involved in that. So I assume you're going to be in Barcelona. And
no.
You're not going. I'm assuming there will be representatives working with the GSMA in Barcelona.
Yes.
Or at least Dan Warren will be there representing you guys from GSMA.
Yes. Yeah.
And one of the things that we're doing there is we're trying to make it so that we have a migration path to the Evolved Packet Core, right? And where do we stand with that activity, and who's involved there?
So we have a group which is the IMS activity group, which for past year had been focused on building a testing plan for voice over LTE profile, which was called before the One Voice. So now it's voice over LTE. So the group just had an interop in Sweden, hosted by Ericsson. They conducted a number of tests, uncovered as usual. So this is like the usual work. They uncovered issues with the profile, uncovered issues with implementations, and now there will be work to address the issues in the test plan and the profile and address the implementations. We have new member companies joining for that. Huawei, who recently joined the MTC, is very much interested in participating in this activity. And what we really need, and we would do our work, which is really building the test plans. There is one missing piece. This missing piece is really strong participation from the carriers, who need to, in our case, they need to play both advisory and kind of a marketing role, because they will need to push the message down to the device manufacturers to run through the same test, to implement the standard way. So, but for that, carriers should be participating, and right now we only have AT&T and Orange actively involved.
Which are two good companies to have
100%. But there are more which should be involved.
Which should be more, and we've got two carriers that are following different standards right now. But I know both of them on their roadmap have the intention to be part of Volt. So I expect that's going to be the universal standard eventually over time. One thing that I should do here is we should talk about the logo and IMTC and how to get involved. So how would people, what's the URL to get to IMTC, and how would people get involved with you?
Very easy, www.imtc, International Multimedia Telecommunications Consortium.org. And there is an information about membership. It's easy to join, and it's a very easy application process. And really anyone who is manufacturing communications equipment, video, or voice over LTE, or streaming systems, and so on, should get involved and enhance interoperability.
And you still have 2025 up there, right? IMTC 2025 is up as a site?
Right. We have 2025 where you can still get the content.
Which
there
was
a
great
conference.
Beautiful conference.
Yes, all virtual conference last year. Yes. And we're now actually working, and this goes to the wide audience, but I can mention that it's, however, it's a closed event. We're working on the event which is called the IMTC Roundtable, where we're going to bring together analysts. We will bring together big users of video communications, and of course, and the CTOs and the product people from all of our member companies. So right now we have Forrester, we have Frost & Sullivan and Gartner who will be presenting at this event, plus companies like Liberty Mutual, Barclays, and many others will be presenting there. So it's the goal of the event is to really set the direction. What IMTC, how IMTC can help the industry, can help our members to move forward with the interoperability, with video communications, with what are the pain points and how to address them.
Good. Thanks a lot, Anatoli. I
Pleasure.
look forward to
Thank you, Carl.
being at your event. Hint, hint.
Of course.